So this one's really tricky for me because the clients that I have, they tend to be older. We have a focus on retirement. We have a focus on long-term estate planning, wealth, things like that. But if you're under the age of 30, all I can do is relate to what I did when I was under my 30s. I have a few ideas, things that I remembered here, but how does a sub 30-year-old get the conversation started with someone who's a planner and advisor, Jazz Wealth? Just saying.
You're wanting me to tell you. That's what you're looking for? Okay, so.
It'd be helpful. Yes.
Okay, so I feel like if you're new to investing, make that very clear. In the phone call, I would want somebody to tell me, Haley, I am brand new to this. I don't know what's going on, because then I can help guide the conversation from there. Ask you, what's your financial purpose with all of this? What's the end goal? What short-term goals do you have? Or even what kind of financial weaknesses do you have? Did you rack up a lot of credit card debt? Is that something we need to focus on? Or did you graduate debt-free, but you really have no idea what's going on? Okay. It's little things here and there that even I can help guide you on. Just make it clear.
From also a state of being able to relate there, right? So it's tricky for me because when someone is younger and they start with me, then I'm kind of just open to nothing. We don't do anything that's like cookie cutter. So I'm just like, okay, tell me, what do you got going on? But a lot of times people that are under 30 or really young, they don't know what questions to ask. It's kind of intimidating. So I try to relate, and I made a little list of some things here that I used to think about. When I was under the age of 30, I couldn't believe how my budget kept getting out of control.
Yeah.
I made a spreadsheet and I couldn't follow that damn spreadsheet. And budgeting to me is not something, that's basic. You've got to be able to do that, whether it's a spreadsheet, write it down, whatever. The second thing was I knew, and I could see people that had money, and I'm like, you're an idiot and you have money. You must know something I don't. So understanding what money options were available to me, I think that was a big one there.
I think I remember you saying that word for word.
I can tell
way
you the
back
guy.
when.
I can tell you the guy's name. Yeah. I remember
don't.
sitting there. No, I won't say it, but he won't watch. But I remember watching going, so they just let anybody have money? This guy, okay, so he knows something. He's worked harder. He's followed a path that maybe I don't know about. He had a strategy. I didn't know how to ask that question. So I think a lot of times the younger crowd is like, Haley, I need to start investing. I want to work on these goals, but you take it. What do you have for me? How do you start with somebody that doesn't know what to ask?
There's a few different ways you could go with it, is asking them, what do you want with your life, I guess? Do you want to retire at 30 and travel the world? Or are you wanting the slow life where you don't have to hustle, but you want to be comfortable still, where you spend your weekends on the beach? Those are going to be two very different situations where we're going to have to ask a lot more questions and really dive into the nitty gritty and make sure the budget is there. Or maybe there's a little more leniency where we can kind of shift investments here and there, or making sure your goals are appropriate and doable.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's tricky because for me, if someone's younger, I'm like, okay, let's get the retirement stuff out of the way. That's boring. That's
definitely,
it's going to change. I know it's going to change. So let's just get that out of the way and make sure you're in the ballpark. And then from there, I kind of like to come back to, all right, well, tell me about what you have going on currently. Some people don't want to buy houses. A lot of the younger crowd right now is like, forget it. I'll deal with it when the opportunity is there. So we say, okay, well, how do we at least do something that's flexible? So we're working on a goal that may be three-pronged in terms of what we're trying to achieve, but we just don't know what it is yet. And so having the right accounts, the right investments, the right dollars going into the right places, to me is really kind of critical for that crowd there.
Yeah, I think knowing the difference between what stage you're in too. So between your accumulator stage or the transitioning stage, those are two very different spots to be in, because you might be close to a goal, not necessarily retiring, but closer to buying a house, getting engaged, having a kid, things like that, where you need to understand where you're at to be able to get a good plan going.
Yeah, and I think so. We do it a little differently here, where we'll say if you're an accumulator, you're focused on hitting a goal. You're working towards it. If you're transitioning, that could be transitioning towards retirement, or we're in that weird transition phase where we said, hey, for 3 years, I'm going to do this path, but I may buy a house. And so when you're getting close to that, we said, well, you're transitioning towards that goal. We need to reevaluate and make sure everything's going to go right and smoothly, as well as start teaching you, hey, that goal that you talked about of starting a business, you may need to know how to start a corporation. What's the difference between an S Corp, a C Corp, LLC? What are you going to do there? How do you register with your state? Blah, 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 blah. So that's what we consider transitioning here. And I think you're right. And it's just no one size fits all is the kind of the lesson of the story there.
Yeah, everybody's going to have unique goals, and they're not necessarily crazy, but they are unique to you and they're doable, and you need to learn as you conquer. I think the learning side is a huge deal. Instead of just saying, all right, you do it. You should learn about your weak points to work on that in the future, not just rely on somebody else doing it. It's good to learn things. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Let's wrap up with the craziest goal that you've seen so far of somebody that's under the age of 30 and that they wanted to achieve. I will start. I was joking about this before, but this is...
Okay, you start.
Ladies first.
Okay.
But I was joking about this, but this is for real. A younger client, 27-ish, sees that people that start funeral homes, those funeral homes get bought out by the big brand name. So he's like, I'm going to start a small funeral home, a boutique funeral home. Then if that goes well, I'll start another one. And then I'm just going to get on their radar and sell it to them one day. Funereal services. I was like...
Funereal is the word?
That's what it's called. Funereal services. I'm like...
Did it work? Where is he at now?
No, that's his goal. That's what
he's
that's
still
what we're
working.
shooting for. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, well, somebody's got to do it. So I guess... Yeah. Top that.
I don't know if I can. I was talking to a girl yesterday. Oh gosh. She said she just turned 24. And her goal is to work and get it all done as fast as possible and efficiently as possible so she can retire by the time she sells the company and just go travel the world and do whatever she wants. So
she's going to need some dough for that.
She's going to need some dough for that. And that's very ambitious, but good for her. I'm kind of jealous almost.
All right. Well, if you're under the age of 30, I hope you check us out at jazzwealth.com. But now it's okay. If you don't know the questions, you don't know the question. Just say, I don't know.